What is up, guys? Admin Voss here. Today we'll be looking at the Rainbow Six Siege beta, which unfortunately ended a few days ago, but anyone who's lucky enough to tune into the channel, I don't know why I'm plugging my own channel on my own channel. There's no other destination. You're here. But anyone who did happen to tune in while it was still out did receive some beta codes just as a thank you for 10 subscribers on this channel, so thank you so much. Go ahead and tell me what you guys thought about this in the comments below, even if you didn't get the codes from me. Also, before I start the review, you might notice that the chat in this clip is just going crazy, and that's because everyone was mad at me for having just started the game and unfortunately joining their lobby, I guess. They didn't want to scrub like me playing their game, I guess. I'm not really sure what they were expecting me to do. I just joined the game. But I did enjoy their negative comments about how I was doing. My favorite was, there's trash and then there's Admin Voss. I hope these guys stumble upon this video because, you know, I was legitimately doing bad at first and then I just decided to fuck with them because it was funny. But whatever, like I said, this clip is of my first game, so if you want to see me doing better, which I promise I do get better, I don't stay sucking this bad, I might post some more Rainbow Six stuff that I hadn't decided to use in this video. Back to the review though, really just to summarize what I'm about to say over the entire video, I really did like this beta and it was pretty damn near perfect save a few gameplay issues and especially the servers and just technical things. I'll go ahead and go into detail about what I meant there. First off, Day 1 was just awful. The original set date for the beta to end, which was September 30th, I believe, really just so many server issues and things rampant that it almost made the game unplayable. You had to wait about 10 to 15 minutes, and I'm not exaggerating, just to find the lobby, and then another 5 to find another team to play against. But if you were patient enough to wait for that, you were in for a pleasant surprise, and luckily I was. Most people weren't apparently, which just made the waiting period even longer. Just wait a little bit, guys. Well, actually you didn't have to wait because a lot of the things I'm going to talk about were fixed in extensions that Ubisoft made. Like I said, it was originally meant to end on September 30th. But it was extended until October 2nd and then extended once more until October 4th, which is when it ended. They didn't want to go crazy here. But those extensions were really just smart decisions on Ubisoft's part because they really did need the feedback, and I'm sure they didn't want to leave a sour taste in everyone's mouth prior to the game launching in December. From what I understood, a friend of mine said they were going to patch in different voiceovers and stuff, which made me upset. You know, Ubisoft, you want to make sure the game plays first before you can listen to it. But even after the extensions, I think he was just lying because I didn't notice any change in the character voices. The game before the extensions did kind of waste your time though, and that's the nicest way to put it. Because, you know, spending 20 minutes just waiting to play the game, and here on this loading screen people would leave, and Ubisoft decided to fill those empty slots, which in theory isn't a bad idea, but the way it was implemented, it was about 5 or 10 more minutes of just waiting for someone to join that game. Kind of disheartening. More people left and the process repeated over and over again. It was really frustrating. But it was kind of fixed with these extensions. These problems weren't completely gone, but I'm glad that they were kind of, not as rampant as they were pre-extension period. That's pretty much all I have to complain about from a technical standpoint. From a gameplay standpoint, there's really nothing to really complain about, except for these riot shields and stuff that are just really overpowered. I understand that they're riot shields, and this is a beta. I don't expect it to be the most polished thing in the universe, but it's kind of ridiculous that the shields were never fixed throughout the extensions even. Kind of disappointing, but got over it. I was mentioning about the slow loading times in the lobbies. I did decide to record some of that in this clip. The original clip was like 6 or 7 minutes long, but I didn't want to put the entire thing into the video, just 6 or 7 minutes of filler, really. Not too entertaining. I don't even know what I would say throughout that time, so let's move on to the positives about this game, which is actually quite a bit. Like I keep mentioning, these extension periods were just great because Ubisoft pulled their head out of their ass and really stepped their game up. I'm glad they did fix the things they did and not character voices. Now all they have to do is terminate Uplay because Uplay is awful and no one should ever have to use it. Honestly, I want to blame everything that went wrong with this beta on Uplay because I hate it so much. That's probably not a rational thing to do, or say, or think, but that's just me. So the operators are a system that's implemented here, which I do believe were put into previous Rainbow Six games. Honestly, I've never played any Rainbow Six games, which if this is what they were like, I'm really disappointed in myself. But it's kind of like Specialist in Call of Duty, except I think the operators are a bit better. Like, they have different nationalities, and of course, those nationalities tie in weapons that are specific to them, which I thought was pretty interesting. You can't just, I don't know, take a Glock to a French operator. That's just not a thing that would happen. I think the way that the operators were handled was pretty smart. There's defenders and then there's attackers. You can't just use them interchangeably. Every round it changes to attack and defense depending on what team you are on. So that was pretty smart, but I think that's a given. Like I said, it was handled really well. So were the weapons. Besides the shield being just an unstoppable force of bullshit, the weapons were really well designed and really no complaints out of me considering the guns or the flashbangs or anything. I think they're all fair and they handled really well. Here you can see I'm selecting a spawn location and the team of the attackers. Attackers? What the fuck am I even saying? I'm just fumbling my dick in my hands, honestly. But yes, the attackers apparently. It's cool because you have this little roly-poly type robot. It's not a robot, it's a little remote control device that you use to kind of recon the area and check where the bomb is, because the other team does have the option to spawn in where they want the bomb to be. So here it's either upstairs in the basement or downstairs. This is just kind of a nice little way to give them prep time, which there is ways for them to stop these little things. The most obvious way being shooting them, but you can put barbed wire in to stop them, temporarily, or I believe they're jammers that just completely render them useless if they get too close. I always thought it was funny to just juke around people and jump into them and watch them just try to kill you and shoot your little bot, which is pretty difficult considering the size they are, but they manage, whatever. And then you go on the attack where you basically just find the bomb or whatever it may be and secure it. That's usually done by just getting around it. If it is a bomb, you do have to kind of put a diffuser there. It's not really anything complicated. Or you can always kill the other team, which usually is what happens. So on the side of the defenders, while these little bots are just, rolling around trying to find your shit, you are putting up traps, like I said, barbed wire, or, little mechanisms that either, stop grenades or whatever it may be. And it's a decent amount of time to get ready. I'm not gonna complain about that. You can feel the tension whenever you've been spotted or whatever, but even being spotted doesn't necessarily mean you've lost the game. They've only just found where you are and stuff, so you always have the chance to redeem your discrepancies. As the name implies, you are on the defense and you are, laying traps down, so when they're actually playing as themselves, they do stumble upon it, and it either kills them or you kill them while they're stuck in it. You win by killing the other team, obviously, or making sure the bomb or whatever it may be isn't secured. Overall, the entire experience was fun, and, save a few issues, I really didn't have much to complain about. I think it's kind of refreshing to have something like this now, considering most shooters are kind of the same. There hasn't been a Rainbow Six since 2011, and, I didn't even know it existed before now. But I'm glad I do, so I can go out and buy a copy of this. It's really more strategic and tactical than Call of Duty or Battlefield, which is what I like about it. It kind of makes it unique in its own way. Definitely a breath of fresh air considering, stuff that Ubisoft has put out recently as far as shooters go. Far Cry 4. Just a small opinion. It was alright, but did we really need a Far Cry 4? Far Cry 3 sufficed enough, but Far Cry Primal looks good. Maybe a video on that later. That's pretty much all I have to say about this. Go out and buy it when you can. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.